just coming through.
With the exception of that last fellow, this is who they've come to see. But today at Athletic Park, Australia's middle-aged bad boys of rock were nowhere to be seen. Yesterday's collapse stage having postponed the concert until tomorrow night, something which wasn't particularly worrying these fans from Christchurch.
Not a lot. We had our accommodation jacked up, but I'd feel sorry for people who had motels booked. They'd have to, pay for another night's accommodation, which is quite expensive.
Inside the stadium, preparations continued for the big night. But for the concert's promoters, a one-night delay is an expensive business.
Oh, there are certainly, substantial costs involved, but I can't tell you what those are at this stage.
Still, as the saying goes, everyone's confident it will be all right on the night. John Campbell, 3 National News.
There's been a stabbing and other violence in Wellington tonight as fans turned out at Athletic Park for a concert by Australian rock band ACDC. So far, at least 13 arrests have been made, and police say their phones are running hot with reports of fighting and car smashing near the venue. The concert was due to finish about now.
A night of heavy metal madness in the capital has left one man in hospital after being stabbed at tonight's ACDC concert. Police say the man was stabbed inside the grounds. More than 30 concert goers have been arrested in a number of separate incidents, including fighting, willful damage and drunken disorderly behaviour. The concert finished an hour ago and police say they're now getting emergency calls about cars being stolen from streets near Athletic Park.
It started like any other concert. Early on, the only thing to report was a smaller than expected crowd and a high standard of behaviour. The Wellington police now say packs of drunken fans are wandering the streets, seemingly looking for a fight. Our film crew's been unable to get into those areas. Wellington police say they've attended dozens of incidents of violence. We've just heard a man has been rushed to Wellington Hospital with stab wounds to his chest. At one stage, rival gangs were apparently at a standoff down a narrow cul-de-sac. The gangs are still out there somewhere. Police are hoping they'll soon go home. John Campbell, 3 National News.
Alcohol fuels a night of hooliganism after a Wellington concert. In one of its songs, Australian band ACDC asks if you're ready for a good time. Well, most of the 20,000 who turned up for the ACDC concert in Wellington last night did have a good time. But residents around the venue had to endure a night of drunken hooliganism. Chris Wright reports.
Around Athletic Park, local residents who had barricaded themselves in overnight came out to assess the damage. They'd hidden from some of the 20,000 or so who'd shown up at the ACDC concert. Many concert goers hit the bottle even before the concert started. Those that couldn't afford the entry fee stood on nearby house roofs.
Were you inside at the time?
Oh yeah.
What was it like?
Bad news.
At the end of the night, police had arrested 42 people. 2 others were in hospital with knife wounds. Police weren't able to stop all those who appeared drunk.
Large numbers that appeared to be intoxicated would have meant that we would have had a riot on our hands, most probably.
Some nearby houses and cars were attacked.
It's not the concerts. I don't mind the concerts, not the concerts at all. It's afterwards and the people before, trying to get in the property, the damage they do to the property.
By late morning, most of the mess was gone, but neighbours were too scared to complain.
The display of violence we had last night just says to people, well, that's the sort of people you're dealing with, so you just keep quiet and put up with it as much as you have to.
This afternoon, residents, promoters, police and the council met to work out what went wrong.
Of course, we're delayed by a day because of our roof problems the day before. And unfortunately, it appears that a lot of those people spent the day in the pub.
The concert's over. The ferry sailed, taking the South Island's heavy drinking, heavy rock fans home. On Saturday night, it's Auckland's turn. Chris Wright, One Network News.
A concert in Auckland by the band ACDC will go ahead as planned tomorrow night, despite what happened in Wellington. 57 people were arrested there last night, 14 others ended up in hospital, 2 of them with stab wounds.
About 20,000 fans packed into Athletic Park to hear the heavy metal band. There was a heavy police presence, and although there were arrests inside the ground, police say most of the trouble happened outside.
The main problem was people walking to the park were intoxicated and were causing problems for members of the public.
We haven't had a night like that for several years. We had 3 ambulances and 14 staff members there, and at times during the night we had all of them committed to patients being dragged to us out of the crowd.
Today, the damage to this vacant house was one of the reminders of last night's trouble. They were cleaning up inside the park and fixing this shop window. These beams were cracked by fans on the roof.
There was just hostility in the air, and walking through them, I just couldn't wait to get off the street, so I was really quite scared about the whole thing.
Not all residents shared the fear.
I don't think it's any big deal. It's only for a few hours.
No worse than any other time.
So they weren't so bad where we were.
The heavy metal group plays in Auckland tomorrow, and police there are confident they can handle it.
We don't anticipate that things will get out of hand.
The clear winners of last night's concert were these children, who were cashing in on the cans left behind. Lisa Williams, 3 National News.